What up, my badasses? Welcome to Geek Much, and I'm Nostradamus. I know it's been a minute, and it's been a week already into it, but Logan has been out, and this is my spoiler review. That's right, spoilerific review. If you don't want to know anything about Logan, if you haven't seen Logan, or if you don't give a shit and you just want me to tell you what happened in Logan, then you can stay. But if the latter, if you don't want to know anything and you haven't seen it, then you should turn this off right now and listen to it later, because this is not for you. Now, Logan is what Hugh Jackman said is his final film as the Wolverine. I like to think never say never. So he says never right now, but like I said, never say never. But then again, there are actors who say they'll never play a role, like Christian Bale would never be Batman, and Michael Keaton would never be Batman, and this person would never be James Bond, and so forth and so forth. So it could be his last go. If it is the perfect send-off. Perfect send-off. Logan, to me, is one of the best comic book films ever. And I'll say definitely the top of the X-Men films. If I had to pick 5, it would be I guess X2, X-Men United, and X-Men First Class. Love X-Men First Class. Freaking Days of Future Past would be a number 2. So X2, X-Men First Class, and then the Wolverine. Not Origins, just the second one, the Wolverine. And then Days of Future Past, and then Logan. Those are on my list. And then we have their honorable mention that's also in the X-Men universe, Deadpool. So, bada bing, bada boom. Without Deadpool, Logan wouldn't be possible. So I bow to Deadpool. Thank you for changing the game. Now, Logan is set way in the future. The year 2029. Mutants are becoming very extinct. There hasn't been any new mutants in 15 years. Logan is old as shit. And he is a chauffeur. He's chauffeuring, okay? And he lives in the outskirts somewhere in Mexico by the border with Caliban, who was introduced in X-Men Apocalypse, who Apocalypse went to. Caliban, that's where he met. Apocalypse went to him. He met Psylocke through Caliban. Caliban can't find other mutants. That's his power. It's not by no bald-looking motherfucker. So, Wolverine's living with Caliban and Professor Xavier, where Xavier is living in some dome or like a water tower, but is on its side, on the ground. Xavier is really, really old and is suffering from some kind of mental disease. He shows signs of Alzheimer and whatnot, but he's very old and his brain is going has a degenerate disease. What is it? Let me see how they label it up here. I know I'm like really bad. If I just started explaining this, like neurodegenerative disease, there you go. Has neurodegenerative disease in which his mind is not well, and in that sense, very dangerous. So right now, Professor Xavier is the most dangerous mutant in the world. Because if he's not in his meds, and once his head goes off, everybody around him is suffering, and they can die. He can kill everybody. And we're gonna come to that later. So Wolverine is not doing so well either. He's very old, and the adamantium in his body is affecting him. more. Like throughout his whole life, it's been affecting him ever since he got it, and now it's really poisoning him, and it's affecting his healing, and he is slowly dying. So that's how that goes. So the movie is really like a big, like, these guys, they're the last of their kind, the world is changing, and they're just trying to get by and trying to live their last days in peace and whatnot. But that is not the case for Wolverine. He's been found by someone called Guadalupe or something like that, or some shit, I forgot. It's some Mexican chick who has this little girl, and she's like, I'm looking for the Wolverine. The X-Men stories have been told through comic books. They're not the exact story, they're just exaggerated stories. So the X-Men are legends. They actually were heroes, and, you know, a lot of people looked up to them, and in the comic books. And she's looking for the Wolverine and wants him to help her transport a girl to somewhere called the Eden or something like that. And it's something that later on was revealed that she found in the comics. So Logan's all like, this is bullshit. I thought it was actual place, but she's just lying. It's just something that's in the comic book. But we'll get to that. Anyways, Logan's like, I don't want nothing to do with this. I don't want nothing to do with this. I don't know who you are. I don't know who she is. It's not my problem. I'm just trying to get money. I'm trying to take care of Professor Xavier. I'm trying to save up so I could take Professor Xavier out on a boat and we could spend the rest of our lives there, the remaining of our lives, because we're both freaking dying and we both been through a lot of shit. Alright, especially me. I lived like forever. But then there's this other guy who comes up to him, Rice, I think. Pierce, there you go. This guy named Donald Pierce, who works with Transigen Cybernetics or whatever, and he's got a cybernetic arm, and it's revealed that he has other people that like are enhanced like him. They know that this woman has been contacting Logan, and they're looking for the little girl and this woman. So they tell Logan to contact them if they ever contact. Of course, they contact again, and he talks to the two girls, but doesn't contact Transigen. Transigen know that they've been talking to Logan. Logan's like, no, I have not. And they're like, just give me the girl. And then they knock him out, and then he sends Caliban to try to take him off into the desert and just leave him out there. But when they're out there, he gets up and he gets Caliban pointed by the gun, and then there's his troops coming in. Go back to the freaking go back to where Logan's at. Logan met the lady before this conversation with Pierce. Again, this is the second time. Logan met the lady the night before in the motel, and she told him, like, look, I'll pay you this much, and I'll pay you the rest when you get over there. So Logan's now kind of thinking about it, but he goes back to the fucking home. He says no, then he goes back over there the next day, finds that lady dead and the girl missing. He's like, what the fuck? That's when he goes back home, finds the trunk open. He's like, oh shit, and finds a book bag. It belongs to the little girl. So like, oh shit, the little girl's here. And that's when Pierce comes. He's like, okay, play it cool. We can't let him know that it's here, but he knows that it's here, and that's when the whole, he whacks the little girl ends up whacking Pierce, and then Logan tells Caliban to take him away off into the desert, and then now we're going back to where we're at right now. I'm all over the place. I'm sorry. It's been like a week since I saw this movie. Give me a break. So, backtrack. So then they come to his home, but before they get to his home, Logan's there, and Xavier meets the little girl, and Xavier's all like, you could read minds, so he's all like befriending her, like, oh, hola. Of course, this little girl is born and raised in Mexico, so she speaks Spanish, so Xavier is speaking Spanish to her, and the girl hasn't said anything yet. She's very defensive about her book bag. Logan noticed that we got company coming, so he's trying to get Xavier out there, not thinking about the girl. Then eventually they get blocked off anyways by everybody else. They send some people to go in to get the girl, and those guys who go in to get the girl end up getting fucked up. She walks out with the freaking decapitated head of the biggest guy they sent in, threw it on the ground, and through the freaking handcuffs they try to get her in, and then next thing you know, she got fucking claws coming out. It's X-23. Of course, we already know this because it was just like insinuating in the trailers, and then they eventually just revealed that she had the claws, so it was like, oh my god, X-23. So X-23 is fucking up people, and then Wolverine is fucking up people too, and he's just really thinking about Xavier, but then he starts caring about the girl. He's like, alright, let me get the girl out here, especially since Xavier's like, get Laura, make sure you get Laura, don't leave her behind. I wanna point out though before I go any further that from the get-go of this movie, Wolverine curses like a milestone. Like it's nothing but Wolverine saying fuck shit, fuck fucking shit, and then Xavier is cursing. If you wanted to hear Professor Xavier cursing and being like being an old, your typical movies, typical old guy that's just like he's tired of shit, kind of thing, and curses, then this is the Xavier you always wanted. Kind of being like an asshole, but the relationship between Logan and Xavier is like a father and son kind of thing. Xavier being the father, of course, Logan being the son, and it's real good. And the thing is that is the relationship between Logan, Xavier, and Laura X-23. But anyways, to go back to they're trying to escape. Laura and Xavier, blah blah, whatever. Logan, they eventually get out of there. So now the whole movie is just them going, excuse me, and Transigen after them. It's revealed that X-23 was built by Transigen from DNA taken from mutants, and Laura is DNA taken from Wolverine. Thus, Laura is Wolverine's daughter, and thus X-23. And that that woman helped, create a lot of, well, not create, I don't think she helped create, but she took care of the kids that were all created out of the DNA of mutants, and they were all being trained, for as their weapons, but of course they fought back, and then the people who worked there helped them escape, and they all wanted to go meet somewhere, and there was the place, the location was from the comic book. They all chose to go meet there. They all chose to go meet there, and that way cross the border and go to Canada and be safe. Alright, so they end up like in Vegas or something like that. Yeah, I think Vegas. They change clothes, they're all good, they're in a hotel. Logan goes off, and he's trying to find out for more information. I forgot what. I totally forgot. I think he got a car or something. Excuse me. Excuse me. So when he's out there, but then he comes back and he realizes something is up. And then there's this seismic thing. The camera gets a little shaky, blah blah, and everybody's just frozen, but they're also in pain in their head. And it's, early in the movie is revealed when this happens, when Xavier is having his fucking attack, and his head is just going wild, and he's affecting everybody around him. So Logan's like, shit, I gotta hurry up and get to the hotel room. They're trying to get Xavier and Laura, and right now he's panicking and he's losing control of his brain. He probably hasn't taken his meds. And there's this funny moment that is just Logan trying to get to the hotel room, and they're like way up there, so you gotta take the elevator. So this guy's Logan and Laura, since they're the same, are the only ones that can withstand, not withstand like completely, like they're not affected, but they can withstand it enough that they don't like freeze completely and they're in great pain, but they don't freeze completely. I just want to say, so they can withstand it some. So Logan is trying to make his way up there. Everybody's frozen, everybody's in pain, but they're frozen. And he's struggling. He gets in the elevator. He's hitting the button to go up. The elevator goes up. So this is the longest, most painful ride for Logan. And he finally gets up there, and now he's trying to make his way through the hallway, and he can barely move. Like he's being frozen, but he's still moving. He's using his claws to move along the freaking wall. There's one of the Transigen Reavers soldiers or whatever. He's like stuck by the door, like in pain, but he can't move, but his eyes can move, and he sees it. He sees Logan coming at him. Logan just looking at him, and he's like clawing on the wall so he could get closer and closer and shaking in pain. And then he just fucking stabs homeboy in the head and then uses that to freaking keep going in there, and then he's just killing everybody as he gets in there slowly. So it's funny seeing where these guys are just like, oh shit, here's Logan, I can't do anything, I'm gonna die, and he's the only one that could move. Him and Laura are the only ones. Laura's like crawling to Xavier. Xavier's revealed to be sitting like in front of one of the windows with two of the freaking soldiers pointing the gun to his head. So in self-defense, Xavier went off, but is also like in panic. And Laura's trying to get this freaking needle to try to like calm him down and call over to him. And Logan too. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm sorry. It's so very disrespectful. Logan too is trying to get there, and he's just fucking kills the guys along the way. Finally, they got the needle to Xavier. Everything calmed down. Everybody's back to normal, and then they gotta fucking rush out of there again. And they eventually they get out of there, and they end up they help some people along the way. The relationship between Logan, like I said, the relationship between Logan and Xavier is really, really beautiful. You could tell these two men have, well, they've been through a lot and they shared a lot, but it just comes full circle. There's a lot of references to the X-Men movie, especially the first one. And Xavier really cares about the little girl and wants Logan to realize, because he knows Logan wants to die already, but he doesn't want Logan to die, especially not the way he is. He wants Logan to at least die on a good note, And when this little girl came out of nowhere and is just like him, he wanted him to feel something, to be like, okay, this is like a family and this is someone to protect, and if you were to die for someone, not just die because you're horrible and whatever. And Logan's been carrying an adamantium bullet because there's been times he just wanted to fucking kill himself, but he doesn't. I think mostly he has to kill himself because he's trying to take care of Xavier, because he really, really cares about Xavier. So they help this family along the way. And the family like invites him over to their farm. Logan's like, no, but Xavier's like, come on, man, just come on. I'm old. I need somewhere to rest. Logan's like, fuck it. So they go, they have dinner, they have a good time. Laura's being real friendly to their son. They're friendly to them. Logan helps the father freaking deal with some bully cowboy motherfuckers in the ranch who keep cutting off their water and shit. And Xavier's in his room. Laura's on the floor sleeping. Xavier's in the bed sleeping, and he hears somebody come in. The camera doesn't focus on that person; they just focus on Xavier. And Xavier's talking about how it's kind of weird, because do you call him Xavier or do you call him Charles? Because his name is Charles Xavier, so his last name is Xavier. Anyways, my last name, people call me by my last name at work. So anyways, he's Xavier, damn it. So Charles is laying there, and he says that this is one of the best nights of his life in a long time. He's very comfortable, he's very at peace, and he remembers a lot. And he remembered what he did. He remembered that back in the X-Mansion, he was the one that killed a lot of people and hurt a lot of people. So in that scene, he kind of revealed that he was the one that killed all the X-Men when he had like his first panic. He probably like pushed it back in his mind because it was so tragic or whatever. So, and Logan being the only one that can withstand that, he probably like calmed Xavier down, and then had to deal with the whole aftermath of everybody being dead, and then taking Xavier somewhere far away and keeping him keep taking care of him and keeping him in check so that doesn't happen again. He doesn't kill anybody else. That's kind of why the reason why he wanted to get a boat to get him out into the ocean. So if anything happened, Xavier would be long gone, and Wolverine is still there, and he's the only one that can withstand and can calm him down, give him the shots or whatever he needs. Excuse me. So Xavier reveals all this shit. And when he turns and tells the person who's there, who's Logan, tells like it was me, it was my thing, and I'm very sorry, whatever, and then he gets stabbed. So that's right, they killed Xavier right there. He gets stabbed, and they reveal that this Logan is Logan, but it's not Logan. It's a younger Logan. And it's a clone of Logan. He stabs him, and then the wife finds out, and she has a gun and tries to shoot him, and then he kills the wife, and the husband and Logan arrive at the house, and they're like, what the fuck? And that clone, X-24, is killed the wife and killed the son, and it's got X-23, because that's who he's there for, and walks right past Logan, who just looks at him like, what the fuck? That's me. And Logan goes up there and finds Xavier. He's like, oh god, no, oh god, no, oh god, no. And he's trying to save Xavier. But eventually, by the time he got Xavier to the truck and tried to take him away, he died. And I think Xavier tells him, like, he tried to tell him, like, don't die. Or don't let her die. Or don't die without doing something or some shit like that. I don't know. And so then Wolverine goes and tries to fight the clone, but the clone is like really tough, and Wolverine can't heal really fast anymore, so he's having a tough time, and he's fucking getting fucked up. But those guys that Logan helped fight off from the husband of the farm, they show up with more numbers, and then they go and they meet up with the wrong Logan. So the X-24 goes and fucks them up, kills all of them. But then the husband crashes into the X-24. He comes out and he shoots him in the fucking face. Then he looks at Logan and he's like, fucking mad at Logan and shit, and he tries to shoot him, but he runs out of bullet and he just drops and dies. I tell you, man, this movie is very graphic, very crazy. And next thing you know, Caliban, who was being used by Transgen to track them down, so that's how you know they kept being found. Caliban somehow gets a freaking grenade while he's in the freaking truck and blows himself up. So he's not used anymore. He destroys the freaking truck, gives Logan a chance to take the girl, and they run off again. But then Logan's really injured and he freaking passes out. The girl somehow gets him to a hospital. But he gets out of there, and then he argues with the girl, and the girl finally speaks, but in Spanish. He's like, you could talk this whole time, but then she speaks English as well. She's like, get me here, I need to get here, I don't care. And he's like, no, it's fake, it doesn't matter, it doesn't exist, blah, blah, blah. He's like, get me, here's money, blah, 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 get me here, blah, blah, blah. So they have a little argument, and Logan's like, fine, I'll take you there, I'll take you to your stupid place, just so you can be satisfied, whatever, but then we're done. So then they go. He gets tired. She tells him, let me drive. He's like, no. And then she's like, okay, just stop and rest. And he's like, alright. Then he rests. And that's when she goes and she drives. Next you know, he wakes up and they're at the destination. She tells him, come on. And it's somewhere high above, so they have to like crane him up there. And there's all the kids from the freaking from the lab, whatever, Transigent. There's all the clone kids and whatnot. And they're all there, and they're led by like the oldest one. His name is shit. Hold on a minute. His name is something. Richter. Yeah, Richter. Richter helps Logan by giving him small doses of the mutant serum that they use on X-24 that heals him up real quick and makes him, powerful and shit like that. Basically give him berserk mode, which is very important. He tells him, though, that you can't use a big dose. It'll kill you faster. You gotta use small doses. while there, Logan, tells the girl, like, look, I got you here, but you got to be far away from me. I can't go any further. The girl, of course, likes Logan, knows that that's her father, and wants him to go with her. But he's like, no, you're better off without me. Just go. And because everybody around me just freaking dies. She knows that he has the adamantium. He's like, what's this for? And that's when he reveals, like, I kept it for myself to remind her, but I also wanted to use it to kill myself. And she just kept it with her. She tells him, like, whatever. You want to do whatever. You don't want anybody around you. That's cool. That's good for me, though, because clearly you don't care about me, so that's not a problem. I'm going to go. So then Logan sleeps once again. He wakes up, and all the kids are gone. They already went on their journey to cross the freaking border. But Logan, he's like, look out, he's checking out, but then he notices these drones are going towards the direction where the kids are at. And then he sees a bunch of freaking trucks and whatnot, cars going. He's like, oh shit. So he runs out there, he grabs that serum shit, he runs out there. Those kids are getting chased by them. They're like, oh shit, what the fuck? Logan's like, fucking, he takes the whole serum. So now Logan's in full out berserk mode. He's going beast. And he's just running like crazy. And he's fucking up everybody. This is like one of the best part of the whole movie. Going around, he's fucking up everybody. He's decapitating arms, legs, stabbing people in the heads, throats, chest, legs. It don't matter. And then he catches up with the kids and it's blah blah blah. And the next thing you know, it's a fucking team up. It's fucking Berserk Logan and freaking X-23, and they're just teaming up, fucking up everybody. Blah 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 blah. But of course, nothing's easy. They're capturing kids. They got some of them. And then they let out that fucking X-24. And then they gotta fight off X-24 and these guys. The kids finally use their powers for, I don't know what reason, but they didn't use their powers before. They kill that Pierce motherfucker. They should have done that a long time ago, those kids. Then they try to help the X-23. Logan and X-24 are going at it. X-24 is fucking up Logan. This is when shit gets real, alright? So X-24 gets Logan and is fucking struggling with him, and then he impales Logan onto a tree branch. So there's like a branch out there, and he just impales him like, whatever. That's what he says, whatever. And there you go. X-24 is like about to fuck up and give Logan the final blow, but then his fucking head just explodes. It's like a big ass hole on the side of his head. And what happened was that X-23 put that adamantium bullet in the gun and shot fucking X-24. So we got rid of the evil bad clone. But then she goes up to Logan, and this is it. I mean, his adamantium has been killing him. He's dying slowly. He's not healing, and he just got impaled. And he's just there, and she's crying, and she doesn't want him to go away. And she finally calls him Papa. I mean, look, I'm about to almost tear up saying this. And Logan tells us, like, whatever you do, don't be what they want you to be. Don't be a weapon. Just go and, be free and be happy and be yourself. And then he dies. Logan, the Wolverine, the freaking icon of the X-Men freaking movie universe, and practically the X-Men universe period, ever since fucking X-Men movies, I feel, dies. And it's emotional as shit. Very emotional. And the kids hold a funeral for him, they bury him on the rocks and whatnot, and they put a cross on there. And Laura quotes this Western movie that they were watching at the hotel in Las Vegas, where this guy's talking to a young kid, I think his son or whatever, and I forgot exactly what the quote is, but something touching that kind of fit like what was happening right there in the relationship between both of them. And after she says that, the leader, Richter, tells him, alright, let's go. And she walks away, but not too far before she turns back around. She grabs the cross, she lifts it up, Then she puts it on its side, so it makes an X, signifying the last X-Men to die. And then they walk off. And then that's it. Title, Logan, and the movie's over. And if you're a freaking douche, that movie didn't just fucking blow your damn mind and just made you go through so many feels. I mean, that was one emotional send-off, one emotional story. Like, me telling you the story does no justice at all. You have to see it for yourself if you haven't. I feel, and this is not just like a bias thing or whatever shit like that, because I do feel like comic book movies are one of the greatest movies of our time, regardless if some are good, some are bad, whatever. The Marvel Cinematic Universe are beautiful, alright, and they're dominating. But comic books, like in general, graphic novels are the greatest stories of our time. Okay? Maybe now more so than ever. Alright? Like back then when Batman and Superman and all that shit was around, it was very tongue-in-cheek, blah 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 blah. But now the best stories of our time are in comic books, are in the graphic novels. And to take those and adapt them. Now look, they're not going to be adapted word by word, unless you're doing like Watchmen or something like that, or Sin City. But they're not going to be adapted all the way through, but close enough. Now Logan is supposed to be based on Old Man Logan. It's not the same story though. It's the same concept. An old man Logan and a road trip in the future, and people are dead and all that shit. But it's done differently, but it's done beautifully. This movie should, and if not, I'm gonna be pissed off, but this movie should be acknowledged. This movie should be nominated. Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman did the best performance of their character ever, and it's because their characters were so flawed. This wasn't a Wolverine from the other movies. He wasn't the best of the best. He wasn't Mr. Badass, even though he was. This Wolverine was flawed. He was sick. He was weak at times. He couldn't heal. He was struggling. He couldn't win the fight against X-24 by himself. He was shaking. He couldn't run fast. He was tired. This Logan had so many flaws, and the greatest heroes are not perfect. Now, I know this is the argument why a lot of people don't like Superman. Let me tell you something. As a Superman fan, I believe I should know how my hero is. Superman is declared a lot of people too perfect. But that's not the case. Yes, he's impenetrable to a lot of things. Yes, he can beat anything. Yes, he is like... you can't beat him, which is not true. Superman himself has flaws. And I'm not talking about just kryptonite. I'm talking about an emotional kind of way. He has flaws. Man of Steel, and despite what people say, Batman vs. Superman depict Superman really well. Because Superman in this day and age would be fighting this stuff. It's not about like, oh, he's beating me or oh, this and that. It's about a personal kind of shit. Am I accepted? Can I do this? Am I supposed to do this? Am I supposed to be involved? Why don't people want me to be involved? I just want to help people. Should I help these people? I'm being feared. Shit like this, I need to stop this person, but I want to save this person. Shit like that. Those are some flaws. All flaws are not about weaknesses or whatever. Flaws is about, well, not weakness. All flaws are not about like what you can do or if you could be damaged or whatnot stuff. It's just a weakness that either emotionally damages you or physically damages you. Logan and Professor Xavier were both very damaged characters in this movie that were being held by a young girl who's very, strong and powerful and hopeful. She represented the future that they fought for back in the past, and have a chance to for her to keep fighting for in the future. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's deeper than it is. And for Xavier to die after he realized that it was his fault that he had killed the X-Men, it's kind of sad. You know? I don't know, like, the movie's really good, poetic, action-packed. Like, there's some people I talk to, and they're like, oh, I expected more, but these guys don't get it. These people, like, clearly they don't know comics, they don't know the story, they don't get everything, they don't get it. But for those that do get it, like myself and you, I believe, it's great. It's a great comic book movie, but more importantly, it's great cinema. It tells a great story and is acted very well, and it's presented beautifully. Logan should next year be in the Oscar race. At least give it a Golden Globe nomination and a win. But it should definitely be in the Oscar race, and I want freaking Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman to be nominated for something. That's all I'm saying. Give it the acknowledge that it needs. Heath Ledger was nominated for an Oscar and won an Oscar for his portrayal of the Joker. Now, whether that's because he did a really great job, which he did, or whether that's because he did a really great job and he died. Let's be honest. So which is which? Had he lived, would he have been acknowledged? Because comic book movies are not taken seriously. You know? Comic book movies are not taken seriously. There's some serious movies that are based on comics and people didn't know. You know, I loved Road to Perdition with Tom Hanks. No idea that it was based on a graphic novel. No idea. And now that I mention it, I wish I had that movie so I could watch it. That movie was dope. So, yeah, that was Logan. What was great was in the beginning, and I'm sure everybody knows now because they leaked it like crazy, and then they just dropped it themselves, was Deadpool. There was like a little teaser to Deadpool 2. And the theater is different than the one that Ryan Reynolds and themselves released online. And the theater is just, the beginning, basically the same shit with the phone booth and the Superman theme playing. The only thing is there's no phone call that he does in the phone booth. And the Superman theme continues to play. It doesn't cut to whatever the other theme was. Oh, and Stan Lee was not there at all. So there was no shut at Stan Lee. That's it. I actually prefer the one shown in the cinemas before the movie than the one they released online. But that's because I saw that one first. I would accept the one in theaters would have been really great if it still had the Stan Lee part in it. But the fact that they changed the music and they keep the Superman theme kind of killed it for me, because the Superman theme was like, it was still funny, like he was trying to get his Superman out, and then when he ran in slow motion to the Superman theme, it was better than him running in slow motion to whatever the fuck poppy shit they gave him. I forgot what song it was. Either way, still great, and it makes you very excited. And the little Easter eggs, I noticed it was a thing on the phone booth that said Nathan Summers is coming. That's Cable, and they're really trying to hype up this whole Cable. I mean, they want Cable, and it's really exciting to have Deadpool and Cable, and then they're gonna do the whole X-Force. I mean, it's exciting. It's like right now they know what they're doing. Like, they're doing actually something. They did. Days of Future Past was supposed to be it. They like fixed everything, and they did. And it's a fucking great movie, especially the road cut. Do yourself a favor, watch Days of Future Past road cut. It is the preferred cut. It is beautiful, and it makes even more sense than the other cut. And it makes you question, like, why the fuck have two cuts? Just like Batman vs Superman Ultimate Edition. Why the fuck would you cut it down any less? Logan was 2 hours and some change. That's how long a movie should be. John Wick 2 was 2 hours and some change. The fucking Power Ranger movie coming out around the corner is 2 hours and some change. If that doesn't get you excited, I don't know what will, because that means it's going to take its sweet time. There's going to be some story into it and a lot of character development. I hope. I have too much high expectation for that movie. But from a very low expectation to a very high expectation, it's like scaring me. But Fox is kind of doing great. Days of Future Past fixed all that bullshit. Then Apocalypse was cool. I mean, they had a moment. Like, I really love the freaking X-23. I mean, not X-23. I really love the Weapon X moment. I know some people are like, why was that even in there? I think it was cool just to see it. I see where they were going. I wish they did it a little differently. And I'm hoping the next one with the Phoenix Saga will be better than what the fuck we got the last time. From that one movie where the only thing good about it was I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. And then Deadpool was like fucking beautiful, and Deadpool led the way to freaking R-rated Logan, and right now they got that TV show Legion that's just fucking fantastic. Legion is done so damn well. Directed, filmed, edited, it's just so damn fucking well. It was unbelievable how well that is. Like, I didn't even think much of that show. I was like, whatever. I'll try it out. And then I fucking saw it and it was like, what is this masterpiece? Like, aesthetically. I see it aesthetically and it's fucking just done so fucking beautifully. And now they're gonna make an X-Men series, which I don't even know how that's gonna fit into all this. Because I don't know if they're connected or not. I'm lost. And yeah, that's it. And the Marvel doing their thing. You don't need to worry about them. They could fucking shit. They could do a video about someone shitting and somehow make that shit work and fit into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They just making magic. This month is Iron Fist. I can't wait to see that. And then Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And Thor Ragnarok. And the Inhumans. Was introduced, I guess it was really introduced in Avengers with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, but it really was introduced in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and they're still going on with the Inhuman stuff. I mean, it's just, look, point is, I love being a geek, and that's why there's Geek Much right here, ladies and gentlemen. And that's going to be the end of this show. I think I should do another one where I talk about comics. Today I just finished reading the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Pink comic. That was a 6-issue comic, and whoa, that was good. It actually, if you're a fan of Power Rangers and you remember back in the day that Kimberly broke up with Tommy via letter while she was out doing for the Olympics and whatever, and training the gymnastics. And that made a lot of people mad. It made me mad. But the comics kind of like filled in that gap and did justice. So maybe I'll talk about that next time, or I'll talk about the Inhuman versus X-Men comic series, which I believe is done now because it reached issue 6. Either way, I'm Nostradamus. That was my Logan review, and it probably was a piece of shit, but I hope you enjoyed it. And please check out my other podcast, Overtime with Naz, where I get real with a motherfucker. So this has been Geek Much. Please stay geeky, and do you geek much? Alright, check you on the flip side, guys.